Thou shalt hold the eldest among you as Lord. Even as I am your father, the eldest is closest to me. Hello, and welcome to Valley by Night, here on Dire Bear's Twitch. It's, of course, our Tuesday night Vampire 5th Edition Chronicle. I'll be your storyteller for the evening, Jason, and with me as usual will be Sarah playing Jolene, Rap playing Maeve, Decca playing Blackjack, Duba playing Alexander, and Eric will be playing Samuel.
He was really nossing it up.
Alright, somebody tell Alexander he's in the wrong screen.
It's that power teleportation, man. Oh, wait, do I get that?
No.
If you're with us regularly, you may notice we have the nifty new nameplates up. Where we've gone and put the, and by we I mean Sarah, has gone and put the clan symbols up next to the names.
Ooh, fancy.
Production values.
It is fancy. She should really have thought of it sooner.
Wow.
Alright, so who remembers what we were doing last week about this time?
Whole lot of meetings.
A lot of meetings. There was a
I mean,
lot of politicking.
Samuel just had the meeting with the prince's wife.
That meeting's still ongoing, I think.
I think you were more or less winding it down.
Sorta.
Prince's wife and now I can't remember the guy's name. The maid and the other guy.
Then Maeve and I are going directly to the prince.
Yeah, we have that meeting.
That's
That's
right.
a great
yeah.
idea.
That is where we ended off, is you two went to go meet with the prince.
Yep.
Yeah, because we were waiting for him when you started your meeting with the wife.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember now.
it's gonna be fun.
Yep, because we had all these meetings. We were like, well, who wants to go first?
Yeah, this PDF isn't.
Because I think we were down to like the 15-minute mark at that point. So.
Yeah, we pretty much were at the very tail end of the session. We didn't have a whole lot of time to spare, but it was just like, well, we got all the stuff we got to do, so who's starting off? Everyone glances over at Samuel.
Yeah.
Alright. And prior to that in the session, y'all had just a coterie meeting where, let me see if I remember, Jolene had a message from the prince to Samuel telling him that he approves of having the Scourge investigate Alejandro, but if it turns out to be nothing, there may be consequences. Believe Lady Deschler in the meeting later stated that it wasn't so much that the prince was likely to do something. Rather, he would just inform the Primogate, hey, your underling thought this and had us look into you. Yeah, at which point it becomes a clan issue.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Maeve wanted to spy on the prince.
Everyone thought that was a dumb idea.
Which I think your kind of cold reception to that idea is, why she's now just going to go talk to the prince about it.
Well, the sad thing was Alexander didn't give a shit. He was like, look, I'll put cameras up, I'll spy on him. I don't care, but I need to know what I'm doing. Are we all agreeing, or are we all not? What's the problem?
And I don't think anybody really said yay or nay. As a group, y'all didn't say yay or nay. It was just kind of, everybody was kind of like,
We're kind of doing like three things at once. Let's wait for one of these holes to burn.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but I think Samuel's fear was, well, if both of these things blow up in my face at the same time, that could be bad.
It's not great, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
considering...
She didn't know he did that, so when she found out, she's like, okay, well then I'll just go talk to the prince.
Yeah. I think that's what we kind of boiled down to.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, then let us start up with Maeve and Blackjack.
Oh boy.
You were at the Ledges Country Club Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
You had arrived a little early. And the prince, on the other hand, well, you don't know if he arrived a little late, or if he just had some other business that carried over, or if he was just letting you stew to, emphasize where your place is. It's kind of up in the air. Who knows? But eventually, one of Marcy's little underlings, one of the ones that regularly works the Elysium, ushers y'all into a meeting room. Prince Deschler is sitting at the end of the table. And some of you have been in this room before. Maybe all of you, I'm trying to remember.
I think all of us.
Yeah, it's one of the larger conference rooms they've got in this place. Now, refresh my memory. What had you, when you had contacted the steward? Steward? Is steward the right word?
Stuart.
Hang on just one second.
What's that one character
Seneschal?
on Wednesday?
Seneschal. That's the
Seneschal.
term I'm looking for. Thank you. For some reason, I came up with Stewart, and it's like, or Steward, I should say. And it's like, that doesn't sound right, though. It's the same letter, though. So, yes. Refresh my memory. When you contacted the Seneschal about setting up this meeting, what was it you told him?
That we just needed to speak to the prince about something. Didn't go into details. The less people that knew in her head, the better right now.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Well,
Well, luckily,
he just might have been like, "No, we're not having this meeting at all."
well, and luckily, your coterie is more or less in the prince's favor at the moment.
Yeah.
We've done so many things.
Oh, you've done several decent things for the city. So as you walk in, he nods to you both. Kind of just gestures to a chair. What is it that you needed to see me about, Maeve?
So what's in the what was it called? 'Cause
The Joe Wheeler Wildlife
here
Refuge.
goes my paper. Yeah. What's underneath the wildlife refuge, if you don't mind me asking, sir?
What is under the refuge?
Mm-hmm.
I've never dug, so I would not know. What is your interest in the refuge? You know it's off limits.
And that's why I came to you. Just a friend of mine. You know how Malkavians are, and they have the site. Just came to me with some knowledge, or with his sight and the dreams he's had. And I'm just putting a couple of things together. And the one name, he said, was the Dog King knows more about it than most, about what we're going through.
Decca,
And it
is that Blackjack's reaction as she starts saying this?
Yes.
And, I couldn't put two and two together with that, because I thought maybe it was a werewolf or something, but talking to my sire, he let me know what it would usually mean otherwise. So I came to ask you if you just know what is with the wildlife, what's underneath it, if at all possible.
Just hear Blackjack.
And you see the prince, when she says the Dog King, you see the prince arc an eyebrow.
I mean, she's not calling him the Dog King. She would never say that to his face, be like, "Yeah, you're the Dog King. I know this," but
he doesn't seem to react other than that. Maybe because it's two gangrel talking to each other, maybe it's not as much of an insult. Or what Malkavian is it that is seeing things in the refuge?
he's not seeing things like actually going there. It's more of his sight.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Samuel has his sight. And he just says there's something there. He just doesn't know what because we're not allowed on there.
What is it about his visions that makes you so interested?
Almost anything about his visions when he comes to me, I'm always most interested in because I don't see them as being crazy as a lot of other clans might.
Why did he come to you with this? Were you in this vision?
Yes.
So he saw you in the refuge.
Apparently I was walking through the swamp water.
Mm-hmm.
And something was watching me from within the waters.
I see. Did he have anything else to say about the refuge?
That the land was like a blanket for what was underneath it.
In the refuge?
Yeah.
Actually, he said that about the city. You can tell.
The city. Okay, well, the city itself. But the refuge he definitely brought up because I haven't been there, but he saw me walking through the waters.
I would suggest that you simply put his vision from your mind.
Okay.
And do not violate the no trespass that I have in place. Whatever things are in the refuge, I am aware of them, and they are under control.
Okay. I just thought I'd come ask.
Again, though, what Malkavian is it that gave you this information?
She's gonna think a bit because she doesn't know if anything bad's gonna happen to him because she actually likes him. So she should be like, is anything gonna happen to him? Is he gonna disappear?
Only if he's broken any rules. But that's not your concern. I hold praxis here. If I ask you a question, you answer it. Which Malkavian brought you this?
She's just gonna give him the last name, Brooks.
He nods. Because, you know, there's several Malkavians in town, not that many.
I just don't want him to get in trouble because he told me of his sight, of what he's seen.
If he's only passing on a dream, well, I will have to speak with him. Don't worry too much for your friend. Crap, I'm blanking on his first name now.
The lobotomy won't be that bad.
He's a vampire. Lobotomy wouldn't work long term anyway.
Kind of go back
just
to your
do it every
natural.
That's it, Jack Brooks. But I will need to have a conversation with him. Any more dreams he should bring to me rather than to you. Should he come to you with more information, pass it on to me. I will contact Primogen Chantham See about arranging a meeting with young Jack. He holds his domain near the Dead Children's Playground, doesn't he?
That he does.
Was there anything else that you wish to bring to my attention?
No, that was about it.
Did you have anything you wish to discuss, Blackjack?
I'm mostly here for moral support. Although thinking about it, now that everything's been put out there, is it possible that the Bali might perhaps know what's in the refuge, and maybe that's what they were searching for, or they know it's in the area?
They believe there is something buried under the city. What's in the refuge is of no concern to you, but I am fairly certain it's of no interest to the Bali either.
Fair enough.
One would almost pity them if they went looking for it.
I have no stake in this other than moral support to one of my coterie members.
You were worried what my reaction would be.
Yes. Particularly when we use words verbatim like she did. I understand gangrel to gangrel, it's still a little off-putting.
She was saying what had been said to her. Had you said it, perhaps there would have been an issue. Well, if that is all, I have other business to tend to tonight.
Of course.
As you get up to leave, you stand up. As you turn around, Charybdis fades into view and opens the door for you.
Much appreciated.
He just nods to you as you walk out. Do you leave the Elysium at this point, or do y'all hang around for a while?
No, we'll leave.
Okay.
It's not their scene, so.
No, it really isn't.
But you
We
dressed
get
so
in the car.
nicely.
We get in the car and immediately, like, did you just rat out your Malkavian friend?
You make it seem like I'm not gonna warn him.
Whatever y'all do.
And she will go to Jack's
Okay.
place.
Well, you don't know specifically where his haven is. You
No,
know,
but she's gonna go to the cemetery where
Right,
she
right.
knows he hangs out.
Okay. So y'all drive off. You know, the gate guy lets you out of the ledges. Y'all swing by the Dead Children's Playground. When you get there, Jack is sitting in one of the swings. Seems to be deeply engrossed in conversation with somebody.
Maybe it's just gonna lean on the gates.
I didn't even get out of the car. I'm just watching from afar.
Yeah, so well, you see this guy, it's this grown man sitting in a swing, seeming to talk to the empty swing next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of goes and looks up, and he sees Maeve laying on the fence. He gets up, He strolls over. Oh, Maeve, what brings you by tonight?
I had a talk with the prince.
About what?
About your dreams.
How did he react to that?
You might have visitors in a few days, hours, I'm not sure. He was pretty busy.
Was he upset?
He didn't seem upset, but you can always hide emotions.
And the prince is very good at that. What did you tell him exactly?
Just the dreams you had of me. That's
Okay.
all I said.
Okay. Did he tell you anything about the refuge?
Just what he knows that's there is under control.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing a prince would say, though. Yeah, well, okay. I'll just tell him whatever I told you.
Yep.
I really just told you
Just-
because those things were watching you, and I was concerned.
Yeah. All I said was everything of the dreams you had. And she is definitely saying the dreams because he did tell her that he was following the prince. So, to not say anything about that, she's definitely saying the dream.
So you didn't tell. Okay. And you didn't tell him about the.
No,
You didn't tell him anything the dead children, or he didn't say the dead children.
No.
You didn't tell him anything the children had told him. Okay.
no, none of that. None of that. Only about the dreams that you just came to me with. That was it.
Okay. Okay. I hate talking to the prince. Or any of them, really. I mean, David's okay, but if you want to be happy, you stay out of politics.
Yeah. It's just with things going on, I couldn't risk going to the wildlife.
Yes, I understand.
So, I just thought I'd came to let you know I just got out of the meeting with him. So,
Well, thank you for letting me know. If I disappear, it's been nice knowing you.
I hope you don't
And if
disappear.
it's your fault, I'll haunt you.
He says
kind of
one thing-
smiles like maybe he's joking, but
And she's like, well, he just says as long as the dream, what we're just talking about, the dreams, it's all fine and you weren't doing anything else, you shouldn't have an issue.
I certainly haven't been there, so.
So. Because I told him, I'm like, sight is sight. It's the same that Samuel tries to get a lot recently, so.
Psst, the Tremere wish they could see what we could see. With the clarity that we see it.
Yeah. And that's what I was just trying to tell the prince, like, it like, you shouldn't get in trouble for these dreams you're having. And just letting me know. But he probably will tell you to tell him of the dreams you're having.
Okay, yeah, that won't be too bad.
So,
I
I
guess
just
I'll have
wanted
talk
to
him
warn
more.
you. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you because you've been a really good friend.
Well, thank you, Maeve. I appreciate that. Hope it's just him, though. His wife's even creepier.
I never really get to hang around his wife. Not much around the prince. A bit more recently with the prince, but not really his wife. So,
The prince keeps his feelings to himself. The lady lies with her smiles. She lies with her eyes. Do you know she was a nun?
really?
Very strange.
All right.
I
Well,
never
why don't
understand
you-
why she would divorce Jesus and marry that guy.
I mean, maybe she just wasn't allowed in the church anymore.
Yeah, maybe. It's discriminatory, though. I know plenty of religious kindred.
But I'll let you get back to talking with the children. I'm gonna
Alright.
go drop off my coda remembered blackjack off home.
All right, they
But,
were just telling me how they're how a bad wind is coming.
How bad?
I don't know. They don't think it'll be as bad as as the last one.
Okay. She's gonna pat his back and then just head back to the car. Ow, Scott, stop it.
As you climb into the car and y'all start, y'all throw it in reverse, you start backing out. You see Jack over there and he's pushing an empty swing.
She's gonna go drive to go drop blackjack off home.
How'd that go?
As good as it's gonna get. We'll know in a few weeks. At least I will.
Fair enough.
All right, Alexander.
Jeez.
Okay, I thought I heard the word cheese, and that's all.
No, I was saying yes, but with a more of a just sound, so Jace.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you are going to go visit Grandmother Dorcas.
Mm-hmm.
So you drop
That
down.
is the
You drop down into the
plan.
sewers. You take the path, one of the concealed entrances to the cave system below Huntsville. The city planners don't know it's there. It was something your clan added shortly after construction of the sewer system was finished.
Sounds about right.
And you're greedy, there's a few Nos running around kind of as sentries down here. So you run across, you pass one or two of them, they nod to you in greetings. You've been here before, you're ushered into, eventually ushered into a room. It's carved into the stone. But like the last time you were here, it's decorated in sort of, kind of a plantation style, Victorian era sort of. Undoubtedly a time period of either Grandmother Dorcas's, mortal days or at least the early days of after her embrace. Alexander, so nice of you to come and visit.
Yes, it's good to see you too, Grandmother.
She gestures to one of the love seats. Please have a seat.
Yes,
She pours you some sort of concoction into a tea glass. A little china glass on the, little on the saucer. The works.
He smiles happily, takes it, gets fancy, raises the pinky. But yeah, so he sits there, enjoys the cup of tea, as it were.
Mm-hmm. And she makes some small talk with him,
Oh yeah. But he just kind of relaxes, try to put on something of a game face, and is like,
Right, so, Grandmother, some rather interesting things seem to be developing in this beautiful city of ours.
She just waits.
There is suspicion. Suspicion that something is being hidden inside the refuge. Granted, the prince has forbidden anyone to enter, and that I understand wholeheartedly, but
I have not heard anything about the refuge of late. What has made you suspicious? Or what suspicions have you heard?
due to some rather sources of mine, we've heard of some interesting visions, tales, as it were. It involves one of my coterie members. For now, I'll leave it and let it be a little discreet. But the gist of it is, the vision show of them standing out there within the refuge in the swamp waters, being stared at by eyes deep within the water. That somehow the city is a blanket and something shifting beneath it.
Well, the Bali were saying there was something buried under here.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. Most of my coterie is actually separated into doing multiple tasks, trying to gain leads, as it were. Though we are continuing investigations elsewhere, of course, with the dear leader of Samuel's, of his
Clan.
Chantry?
Thank you, Chantry. My brain was just like, I know the word, I know it, but it is escaping me for whatever reason.
Though, luckily I've seemed to pick up a little extra aid in assisting in finding out anything on Alejandro.
Is
Whenever
that
I
what
get
Travis is up to?
Ah, so you have been following him, dear brother.
We knew the Scourge was investigating something. He was leaving the city regularly. But we had not figured out what.
Yes. We
What
have
i-
been able to... I wouldn't say employ, but that's technically what we've done. Is essentially done an investigation on Alejandro.
What is Alejandro suspected of?
Between you and me, grandmother? We're afraid that he might be tied in to the body. We're not 100% sure.
Oh
We
no, of
have
course not.
suspicions.
Travis would have struck by
try-
now if you were certain. If he was certain.
Yes, right now we're trying to get all the loose threads tied together so that way we have a good, complete story.
Interesting.
The prince is on board. He's actually allowed this. However, if our suspicions are wrong, I can't say it will be rather pleasant.
I can't see the prince being too angry about it. You'd really just be wasting Travis's time.
Oh no.
Though, if he let Alejandro know,
That's
and
exactly
as erratic as Alejandro has been acting, it might be interesting to see what would happen. It wouldn't go well for poor Samuel, I'm sure.
No, and that is the problem. So right now, we've got a lot of things to investigate, and unfortunately not a lot of, well, strings to pull at, as it were. But like I said, we at least I'm having a little bit more assistance with our Alejandro matter. I didn't know if maybe you knew of anything due to the refuge, but again, I thought you might also find it interesting to learn that somebody's having sneaking suspicions of the prince.
Also, Josh, you were there when Samuel did say that Alejandro told him that he feels that the prince betrayed him. or betrayed the clan. I mentioned that, but just in case.
I'm trying to think if that would be worthwhile in actually saying, oh, why not? Again, Grandmother Dorcas loves information. What is me? To be fair as well, it seems as though, from other sources, it seems like Alejandro believes that the princess betrayed him in a way. That I'm not sure, but that is what I'm gathering from all my sources. So, again, that puts Alejandro a little bit on a suspicious pedestal.
Yes.
Nothing, could be something more.
He has seemed to be unhappy with the prince as he let the Banu Hakim in. Not that the Camarilla really gave us much choice in that.
I'm sure y'all's hands were tied when that happened, so I cannot blame you for what you had to allow.
Still, good work, Alexander. Good work.
I'm trying, Grandmother.
But I
I'm
wonder
trying to
how
be
the Bali would have contacted Alejandro.
That is a good question. I might be able to tap into some lines, see if I can't trace some calls.
Alejandro's predecessor, he hid something in the city. We've never been able to find what.
Oh. Any general idea what to look for then? Let alone a general location?
No. She stands up, she goes to a bookcase, and she pulls off a battered and partially burned book.
What do you have there, Grandmother?
It's an old book. Obviously, I'm not sassing you, child. I believe it may have come from the destroyed chantry.
Interesting.
I hate not having Eric on cams because I'm sure he perked up when he heard that. But anyway,
Yes. You
it,
to wonder.
it turns out a few people managed to venture into the ruins and salvage some things before. Well, truthfully, before we knew before we knew Alejandro and Samuel had survived. I would have returned it, but it's so beat up it would be of no good to them. And it is a journal, but not one that of any magical nature. Someone else seems to have taken those books before we got there.
You thought about trying to get it restored to some manner? Or do you think it would probably be destroyed if you tried?
None of us locally have the talent for that, and it's not any Tremere incantations or anything in here. Well, we couldn't very well have a mortal pouring through it.
Oh, fair enough.
But it speaks of something being sent to the Chantry. Something he was very nervous about, as he did not believe his superiors in the pyramid would approve.
Interesting.
But whoever was behind the delivery, though, was putting great pressure on him.
Fair.
I'm truthfully surprised that he actually recorded it. But it appears that he wanted his successors to have some warning about it. Unfortunately, there are pages missing, torn out. At least one was torn out, and several of them were damaged both by the fire and by the water when the fire department put it out.
Interesting. Sorry, part of me was just imagining if we could scan the book and possibly get better written, see if we couldn't find hidden words or written words that was unable to be read initially. But that's just...
We've checked it pretty thoroughly for how would you put it? For ink that fades out, or we've tried to find like the torn out pages, see if there were, since the book is she's flipped it open a little bit so you can see that the book is handwritten. So we've checked the pages behind the torn out pages, see if we could find impressions on the paper of what might have been written on the previous page. And we make out a word here or there, but Alejandro's predecessor had apparently a light touch with a pen.
Now, this is me jumping out to OOC. What is it? I keep remembering something about a sun. Is it the
unconquered sun is what y'all have been hearing about.
Unconquered sun. Thank you. Right. So, Grandmother, you're a fan of a little bit of myth and legend here and there, yes?
I'm an avid reader and have been reading for quite some time.
Does the phrase of the unconquered sun mean anything to you?
She goes very still, and there's a slight cracking sound. And she goes, "Oh my!" And kind of catches the cup as the her little porcelain, as the handle had snapped off.
My apologies, Grandmother. I didn't mean to
Oh,
trigger...
not at all. It's just an old cup. It must have had a flaw in it. She goes, sets it over to the side. But to answer your question, the unconquered sun was some religion the Romans adopted. It wasn't Diocletian. It was the emperor before Diocletian. Aurelius? She rattles off the Roman emperor. He attributed his many victories to this unconquered sun, or Sol Invictus, as they called it in Latin. I think it was an Eastern religion that some of the soldiers had adopted, and it eventually spread. Eventually, they associated him with Jesus, and then when Constantine came into power and made the conversions, they kept the unconquered sun's birthday.
Yes. That's what I slowly came upon in my own research. I was just mildly curious if you might have a different interpretation, at least a different idea towards it. Not to technically be back in the Greek mythology, something more prevalent to us. But if that's all you know, then I won't press no more.
She's like, that's all I know off the top of my head. I might have some mythology books in storage somewhere with more information, but what, may I ask, brought this bit of mythology up?
Well, with several sources of mine, that's something that kept reoccurring. That phrase of the unconquered sun. As I said, I just was curious as to what strength it held in correlation to anything of our clans or of our way of life, so to speak. So if it had any actual weight. But
Well, there was that old Ventru in England, Mithras. Mithras being a sun god from the Middle East. That's the only something I can think of in kindred lore that might tangentially touch the unconquered sun. It's not the sort of deity most of us would have been interested in.
Fair enough. I understand. Right. Well then, I just came to give you my mostly an in-person report and to, I guess, continue gaining knowledge of my own. So I shall not bother you anymore. But one small thing I am curious about:
Oh yes.
is it possible to request aid of my fellow Norse?
Well, certainly. I mean, as is our wont in kindred society, you know, if you ask them to do you a favor, they may ask for a favor in return at some point.
Understood. I'll keep that in mind. I've been meaning to see if any of them would like to help out or assist, but I've been, as silly as it sounds, I guess I've been a little too nervous. You would think after all these years that kind of feeling would go away.
Well, you were living alone for quite some time, north of the city, so.
Yes, this is true. I've learned not to really bother most people and just stick to myself.
But,
Oh, old habits die hard.
well, you're part of a larger clan now. She pats you on the shoulder. So yes, you should certainly be able to ask around for favors. As I said, as long as you return favors.
Oh, but of course, grandmother. As I said, sorry for your teacup. I'll repay you in some form or fashion.
Oh, it wasn't your fault, Samuel. It's just a flaw in the china, or old age. That cup is probably older than you are.
Apparently, since she just called him Samuel.
Oh, well, she's old too. Alexander, excuse me.
No, I knew what you meant. I just heard you say Samuel. I'm just like, just go with it. Just go with it.
Look, I'm in my mid-40s and I have senior moments. This woman may remember people that fought in the Revolutionary War. Leave me alone.
Senior moments.
As she's walking to the door, though, she does tell you, do be careful about the refuge, though. The prince is very firm in his banning of any kindred entering it. And before his day, well, even before he banned it, when his predecessors held practice here, most kindred avoided it. There were odd stories and the occasional suspected disappearance.
So essentially, if anyone ever wanted in, they didn't come back. Kind of story.
Not that everyone that ventured in didn't come back out, but
certain few.
I can remember a gangrel that took his domain there. And without incident for several years. And then he was simply gone. Of course, with kindred, anything could have come up. But, to my knowledge, he had no major conflicts with anyone. Of course, it's a gangrel. He may have simply got the wanderlust and wandered off. There's no telling.
Well, thank you for your time, grandmother.
Of course, Alexander.
Again.
Thank you for keeping me updated.
Yes. Again, I have to remind myself that I'm no longer alone, as it were. I do have to show that I do care about my family. And I'll continue to try and strive to do so. So, when I have more news, I shall report back.
Well, thank you. I look forward to our next meeting.
Of course, grandmother. Have a good evening. And he will quickly toss his ass out the door.
You know, as you're leaving, there are several other knots around if you wanted to start recruiting people for something.
Want to, but at the same time, I'm not 100% sure what to use them for right this second.
Okay. Well, with you talking to Grandmother Dorcas, I thought maybe you had a specific something in mind, currently, but
No. Nothing specifically in mind.
just making sure that it's an available resource should you need it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jolene. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, nothing. I was just going to add, it's always nice to know what resources you have at your disposal instead of what you don't.
Jolene,
Mm-hmm.
what are you spending your evening doing?
If it's the same evening from last time, she's still just doing alchemy stuff.
Well, this was, let's see, you'd had your meetings. All this stuff was happening the next day after that meeting. And I think we'd already handled everybody waking up and, if anybody had to
She
hunt
was
that.
doing alchemy stuff, because everyone was going to meetings.
Okay. So you have your alchemy stuff currently set up in the back of the Evening Primrose, correct?
Yep, in the basement or wherever they are.
Do you have the same flip phone that you've been using for a while?
Might not be the exact one, but she still has that number.
Okay. You get a phone call.
She will look at the screen, see if she recognizes the number.
You do not recognize the number.
She will pick it up. Hello?
Jolene? It's a familiar voice.
Is it Eddie?
It's Eddie.
As a side note, throughout the whole thing, she is listening to the background sounds. Just to kind of see what the background sounds are. You're pushing your luck calling me. Last time we talked, you put a stake in my back.
I was trying to get you out. I'm sorry about that, but I was trying to get you away. You need to get out of that city. I don't know if the Bali are still going to be interested, or if y'all killed enough of them that that they're going to give up.
What do you want?
I'm waiting to make sure you're all right. And from what you can hear, he is driving in a car. You're hearing car noises while he's talking.
Okay. Well, keeping an eyeball on all the thin bloods since you conveniently figure out a way to both get yourself banned from the city and just, take care of that little thin blood problem.
It's not like they gave me a choice.
You saying they forced you to get Diablo somewhere?
Yeah, it was that or they would kill me.
Well, you come back to the city, you're getting killed too, so...
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
So there's just a house call to make sure I'm alive, or is there another reason you're calling me?
I'd still like to convince you to get out of there. I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't be all that trusting to me, but...
And who's supposed to kind of help everyone else?
Look,
Bree?
well, she seemed fairly confident. Oh, is she okay?
Yeah, you ran her over, but she's fine.
Okay, I was thinking she was one of the sturdier of us. He doesn't sound like he was completely convinced, though. It's one of those. I think she's gonna be okay. Hopefully.
Not my problem. Why are you so dead set on me getting out of this city? I'm a thin blood. Pretty much any city I go where there's vampires, that just puts a target on my head.
Well, there's smaller towns around. Some of the Anarch cities are not as particular.
Yeah, well, walking around with a brand from... What is her name? Blanchette?
Was it Blanchett or Jeanette? I think it was Blanchett. Yeah.
I think her last name's Blanchett.
Yeah, I think her first name is Jeanette or something like that.
Did I really name her Jeanette?
Yeah, Jeanette Blanchett.
Oh, I guess I did. Okay. I don't know. They'd probably just see that as a mark of, that you've escaped Camarilla, tyranny.
Yeah, well.
If you do decide to bounce, though, not Decatur. There's still a lot of fighting going on down there, and
Yeah, I know. I'm staying here.
yeah. You know you're not going to be able to save all of them.
Yeah, well, someone's got to try.
That's... Look, I admire
I've got
that.
some pool here, and if I can at least either keep them from getting killed, or keep them from getting killed until they can get out of here, I've done my job. I know eventually Scourge is gonna just probably have a bit of fun ripping my throat out or ripping my heart out, whatever he fancies.
Yeah, you probably are the one that got away.
Got away what?
Well, you're the first thin blood that he didn't get to kill in the town, so...
Yeah. Yeah. We have an understanding. For some reason he has the waffle up. Never mind. If there's nothing else you need, Eddie.
No. I'm just sorry things worked out like they did.
Yeah.
I won't bother you anymore. Oh.
Don't come back to the city. You're a backstabbing bastard, but I want to see you dead.
All right. Be careful around the doctor. The Tremere, they're not the source you should trust. I don't know what his interest in you is. I'm sorry, that came out kind of wrong, but everyone knows he studies blood, so just watch yours around him.
Eddie, I'm a thin blood alchemist. I do just as much weird shit with blood.
Fair.
I'll mind myself. If I'm gonna die by one of them, they would have done it already.
All right.
Don't get killed.
You either.
From the death. Hangs up, writes down the phone number, immediately text Alexander.
You can't see it because I don't have the camera on, but I'm like smacking my head so hard.
Why?
So many masquerade breaches over the phone. Oh, okay, sorry.
If you wouldn't have brought it up.
I know him. He was probably counting them anyway.
Now, do I count each breach individually or just the
Scale of 1
the
to
one
10.
phone call?
Well.
To where there's just a nuke from the Second Inquisition just blows up Huntsville.
Afterwards, she's probably like, I'm gonna have to get rid of this phone.
Perhaps
Or
I
at
break
least
this
turn
phone.
it off. It powers it down.
Turn off GPS tracking.
Oh, she never has GPS tracking on that phone.
No. But you do all that after you text Alexander, so he's in the loop too now.
Yeah, she... Well, she would just text and be like, "Hey, you got a minute? Can I meet you up somewhere?"
He would happily just text back. Oh yes, of course. I'm done visiting with grandmother for right now.
Shockingly, Alexander, you are still deep underground when you get this text.
Oh, okay.
You realize that the NOS must have some sort of signal booster to actually pull cell signals
I
down
was
here.
going to say, the reception is wonderful down there.
Which is
I didn't really
weird
think about
considering the
that.
ban on certain technologies. Though down in their wardens, I can't talk all of a sudden.
Warrens.
Thank you. Down in their warrens, it's not like anybody from the Prince is going to come down here and check it out. So.
I mean, you're right.
She just says, "Just meet me at the usual place." I mean, I assume the Primrose is the usual place.
Yeah, these days.
Just kind of looks at her alchemy stuff, like,
Yeah, just not in the mood.
Straightens it up.
Breaks it all off.
Takes a
No,
nap
she's-
on the couch.
Just straightens it all up, like, whatever. She'll just wait for him to show up.
Alright, so everybody's meetings have wrapped up. Maeve was dropping Blackjack back off at his spot.
That's where I am.
Jolene was already at the Primrose. Alexander, I assume, is headed that way. Samuel, after your meeting with Lady Deschler, where do you go?
He is going to see if he can, with his new knowledge, if he can do any more research on the uncommon sun and whomever this mystery person might be that he ended up connecting to.
Okay. How are you going to go about this research? Because you had poured. You say you'd used the Chantry resources at one point.
Yeah, now he's going to use his.
Okay.
See if anything in that library he ended up getting from his sire might have something.
All right, and I think we said it was what, intellect and
Colt.
yes.
Okay. Alt. Intelligence. Sorry. Calculate.
Several.
Would this involve blood sorcery, werewolves, or spirits?
Blood sorcery, werewolves, or spirits? No, I don't believe it would.
Okay.
Okay.
Well then.
Who are you paying at Roll20 for these rolls?
I don't know. That's
Jesus!
that's
Four
10,
tens!
that's 10 successes.
Yep, that is 4 10s in that roll. You had 6 successes, 4 of them were 10s. Or
Yeah.
6 dice roll successes. So yeah, that comes out to a total of 10 successes. Well, alrighty then. You were pouring some of the...
Son ate for dinner?
Let's see. Let me check one bit of information. I want to make sure I get these guys right. All right. So you're pouring through some of the texts that your sire had given you. And you happen to be poking through one that speaks of some of the oldest kindred.
Okay.
When going through the section that speaks of Mithras, who may have died when the Inquisition attacked London, there's rumors that he may still be around. Certainly the cult of kindred that he kept around himself are still active. Though not in London proper. They have moved over to, I think it's the next closest decent sized city. But I'm blanking. Anyway. It speaks of Mithras being the... Well, it speaks in kind of a debate, like it's weighing, the writer is weighing the pros and cons of the ideal that Mithras may have inspired the myths of the sun god Mithras. Versus he may have taken that name or been given that name later, you know. It does mention at one point the phrase "the unconquered sun" comes up.
Okay.
It's a title that he briefly took for himself, but the quotation in the book, and it's a second. It's like the writer. It's a second hand. It is a quote the writer got second hand. That it was a name he picked up, or a title he picked up that he had originally heard from an older kindred in his day, who spoke with great fear of the unconquered sun, who he presented as, or he spoke of as, being the one supreme God. The writer speculates that he may not have meant that in a monotheistic manner. It may have been more of a head god, you know, much like the Romans would have referred to Jupiter as kind of the supreme deity, even though he was one of 5011. It doesn't give a name for who Mithras picked this up from. He only referred to him as the Akkadian. And this Akkadian seemed to think the unconquered sun was the one that had leveled the curse on Cain. But that's all you managed to find in your library, even with all those successes. At least that seems to be relevant. At least that seems to be relevant.
Yeah.
You know, you find plenty of references to the various Roman deities that's got, you know, that name applied to them periodically.
Yeah. He'll write that down in his little personal notebook and keep it with him. Let's see, we're still having secondary meetings happening, so...
Oh, yes.
He's also going to work on furthering his research on the Werewolf Blood.
Okay.
He can't potentially glean a discipline out of it.
He's trying to learn discipline out of it.
He wants to see if it's possible, given their deep connection to animalism. Because, if I remembered, creatures of horror. So, I know Werewolf Blood does something special.
I know when you feed off of it, when it comes to like the humors and stuff, I think animalism tends to be what you get from it.
A sip slakes 2 hunger. Draining a werewolf dry can reduce hunger to 0 for 2 vampires. Far more susceptible to frenzy, while lupine blood remains in their system. Each point of hunger slaked increases the difficulty to resist frenzy by 1. Even if the vampire successfully staves off their beast, they become paranoid and short-tempered for as long as the blood remains in their system. Mixes with animal and caloric resonances, usually intensely. Alchemists prize it for its high miscibility with other ingredients. It adds 2 successes to any distillation roll for a formula, including it.
Nice. Your only concern with you being able to get anything from it would probably be how long it's been in storage now. You'd have a hard time drinking it. Where alchemical stuff might not affect it as much.
Yeah.
And you would know Jolene can do things to make old blood passable, so that's an ideal too.
Yeah. And he would have disposed of the body by now, so all he has left is the blood.
But certainly in studying it, you're finding other odd properties to it.
Yeah.
A very baseline blood test doesn't show anything unusual.
Mm-hmm.
So one of these creatures going to an average doctor, nothing would really come up.
Yeah.
But a more in-depth study, and there's all kinds of weird stuff in their genetics. And,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
the blood itself was active and still fighting off, any sickness or diseases that might have been, in the thing's system. Even in storage for quite a while, it was still kind of fighting some of that off. Though this long after it, it's pretty well just dead now.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're studying on that.
He'd probably be doing that because I know Maeve and them had that second meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what he's doing during that. Before he meets them at the shared.
Okay.
So we were all going to the shared?
Might as well. I mean, we all
Okay,
had different
then-
meetings, so it's a...
Well, if Maeve knew that, then she wouldn't have dropped Blackjack off at his house.
Okay.
Alright.
Jolene doesn't notice. She's just down there working on her alchemy, like. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on over? Oh shit!
What up?
She's slowly putting one drop. What's going on? All goes into the vat.
Yeah.
Blows back in her face, just sighs, takes it, goes over to sink, dumps it out.
Realizes Eddie might have been onto something.
I've been working on this for weeks, like a blasted back hair.
Some of them do take weeks to distill, so.
So eventually you all make it to the Primrose. In whatever order y'all manage to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably be either Maven, Blackjack, or Alexander first, depending on.
Well, I assume all the
Make more
meetings
pit
were going
stops.
down at pretty similar times.
Yeah.
Right, but then Samuel went and did some other extracurricular stuff.
Well, he met with
He did that
with
during
Lady
the-
Deschler as soon as he woke up, and he lives down the road from her.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's true.
While some of his meeting was going on, you two were sitting around Elysium waiting on the prince to give you the time of day.
Good
And Alexander
to-
was trucking through sewer systems and caves.
Yeah.
Having his meeting and then having to truck his way back out.
You Because yay, puffing 90% of your shit.
We need to get him a Vespa.
A moped.
No, he needs one of them fan-propelled skateboards like the Ninja Turtles use.
That's a jet engine at that point.
Or maybe some celerity, that's something. But anyway, y'all meet up, so whoever wants to present business can present business.
Jolene will just hand the piece of paper with the phone number on it to Alexander. Got a call from favorite backstabbing ex-Thin Blood. That's his number. I don't know if you can do anything with it.
He quickly goes to the little surveillance system, sits down at the computer, types it in, starts seeing if he can track anything.
Give me a computer roll.
Sure thing. Yep.
Computer... We'll say intellect.
Okay.
Well, if you do manage to learn anything from it, the prince did request us to turn over any information we receive, so that could be another feather in our cap, as it were.
Says he was forced to diablerize whoever they made him diablerize. So.
Old Herschel. Poor old Herschel.
They made him diablerize old Herschel.
The gang girl that had lived there, yeah.
Well, potentially. We'll see.
Alright, so give me an intellect computer use roll there, Alexander.
So, you mean technology?
That's right, I'm sorry. It was
No,
computer
I-
use in the previous 3 versions of the game.
I understand. That's why I figured you said that, but I'm like, but I don't see computers. Do I need new glasses? Do I actually need bifocals?
Not yet.
Technology?
Yes. Okay, that's a couple of successes. So 2 successes, you can't like pin down what cell tower was he connected to or any of that jazz. But you run the number and it belongs to it. It is a cell phone that belongs to a Courtney Braddock's. You get her name and you don't get her full address, but you get like the zip code that goes with her billing information. And of course, the zip code. That's just the zip code is as easy as just typing that in. That gets you. Looks like it's either in or around a city called Moulton. Huntsville sits in Madison County. Decatur is in Morgan County. Moulton is in Lawrence County, which is next to Morgan.
He will have that pulled up on the screen, smile, and do a little ta-da.
It's a relatively small city. It's a very rural county, so there's not a whole lot of much of anything there, truthfully.
Is it a dry county?
I believe Lawrence is still a dry county.
How archaic.
Though to be fair, Morgan County is a dry county. It just has wet cities. And several years ago, they had their paper mill was their big employer, and it shut down. So they've gone back to having gravel roads in some places. It's kind of sad. Anyway, Moulton is not known for having a large kindred population. It does technically have a prince. Somebody has declared praxis there. It is technically a Camarilla city, but it's small enough that nobody cares. The Anarchs, to your knowledge, haven't tried to move in. It doesn't even have like a full Primogen council. It's really just the prince and some of his children. Almost like there's one coterie that's like, oh, we're all that's here. Oh well, I'm prince then.
Fair.
I'm the oldest. I get to be prince.
So, it's as few kindred as are there. It's somewhere Eddie could easily be hiding. If word hasn't really been spread around, if nobody had thought to call this guy, Eddie might have presented himself and been like, he might be there, legitimately. Deschler declaring a blood hunt on him is only a thing in Huntsville. Now, if it got out, if there was if evidence got out that he'd committed diablerie, then the Camarilla might throw a sect-wide blood hunt on him.
That's a no-no.
Yes, but you'd need a little more evidence for anybody to care.
I mean, if we want to flush him out, he's still convinced you're all out trying to get me killed or kill me when at some point.
I'm trying to kill him.
Get in the
I am the lion.
I did try to kill him. I almost succeeded.
All I'm saying is, if he has more information we want, or if we want to bring him in, I can travel during the day.
If we bring him in, that blood hunt falls on us.
So we just give the information to the Scourge and the Prince and be like, hey,
Honestly, at this point, with the blood hunt put on him, having any association with him is not ideal.
trust me, it was not my idea.
Oh, I know. So we can use that number to contact the sheriff, and we inform him that you were called by Eddie. This is where the call came from, general area, who it was registered to. They might send word to whoever has control of that area.
He says they still might be looking for Thin Bloods.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Is there any way to get in contact with someone in the area and be like, hey, by the way, this Eddie fella is under a blood hunt from Huntsville for committing diablerie as and that kind of thing.
Well, that's not our.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that's entirely our call to make. I think we should just inform the sheriff that there was an attempt by Eddie to pull something.
Fair enough, you're the boss.
I mean, if we were trying to get him, maybe Jolene can call him to be like, yeah, she's finally noticed and seen and is ready to run. And just...
A sting operation.
Yeah, that would depend on if they want him back.
A blood hunt is.
It's death, yes.
It's death.
But information and then death. If they made him Diablo as someone, maybe he has more information he can share.
Then we get in contact with the sheriff and the prince and see what they say.
I was already under contact with the prince today.
Well, I can speak with him if you really want me to.
It's
Man.
more your style than it is ours.
I mean, nothing went wrong with the conversation we had with the prince.
Minor heart attack aside.
For you, maybe?
What
Yes.
did you do?
You
Nothing. I just said that I heard the term King and Blackjack freaked out.
Well, we should be lucky you were the one that said that.
exactly.
And as the prince said, I was only saying what I heard.
Of course.
Still probably not right to repeat a slur, even if it was heard in a dream.
But again, gangrel to gangrel, I'm fine right now.
What way is Alejandro leaving? Out through the city? Is it towards Molten?
It's kind of to the
Okay.
leaving Molten. He'd be leaving like, if you look on a map, kind of down this way, probably driving past Mooresville. You said Alejandro. That would be the way towards Molten. Alejandro is headed up kind of northeast,
Okay.
like he was going to Chattanooga, which also cuts through Hollywood and several other communities. So, basically complete opposite directions. So you could also get to Molten going straight east, I guess, for a ways and then down. Anyway. Does anyone else have any information they wish to give the group?
Actually, yes. Alexander will, just due to possibly Samuel's reaction. Even though Samuel's reaction cannot be seen due at this time,
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the reaction would be.
Book, gimme.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, pretty much he'll smile and say, "Well, my meeting with Grandmother Dorcas was rather interesting, so to speak. I do believe she is in possession of something of your people, Samuel."
Why do you say that?
Because it's a journal that was able to be taken off the wreckage of when the Primogen burned.
Chantry.
Thank you. Chantry burned.
To be fair, the Primogen burned with it, so
You're not wrong.
Not wrong, but a little backless.
So your Primogen has some of the tomes, one, if not more, of the old Chantry. Is that what you're telling me?
As of this moment, I only know of the one. It's something that they have looked into. They cannot find no secrets, no magic or rituals that y'all would be interested in. Nothing of the sort. Nothing that a normal mortal could not have a look at, but nothing that would hold any interest to you.
Actually, she specifically said they couldn't have a mortal look at it.
Oh yeah.
That's why she hadn't had anybody try to restore it.
None that would be of any interest to you, no. There are many tomes out there that are locked behind our own thaumaturgy.
To this I understand. I did try to butter up and see about restoring the book, but I guess because to her it holds no economic interest or any interest or value whatsoever, she'd just rather it stay in its current condition and just
With
kept in
her?
secrecy. Aye, you're correct.
He
I'm sure
starts drumming his fingers on the table.
I do apologize. I'm sure you're not the biggest fan of this information, but at least you are aware of this.
Let me put it to you this way.
Alright.
If there were more Tremere in the city, they would be storming your stronghold for that.
That I can understand. It's a precious piece of your knowledge.
I understand some of other kindred might have taken the more breaching articles because they did not know if Alejandro or I survived. But once it was made aware that we did, they should have returned them. If they wanted any kind of favor or good faith with our clan at all.
Again, I only became aware of this in the current meeting that I had with Grandma Dorcas. As I said, I also tried to sweet talk her into at least allowing me to restore, to at least try to digitize what I could onto a computer. Again, she gave me, or she did her best to essentially tell me that none of that was necessary in any shape or form, that the book was of no importance. So, instead of pushing my luck and irritating said grandmother, I did not try to press the matter.
No, it's important as far as she knows.
And again, she tried to look at it every possible angle, goals disappearing ink, little secret symbols, and whatever could be deciphered, though it seemed that some pages were missing from said book. She even showed me where some pages had been torn. So undoubtedly someone had seen this beforehand and took the more valuable pieces, if it had any value at all. As she said, it just seemed to be a journal.
Did she say who?
I'm 95% positive you told me, but my brain is shorting out.
I was blanking on the guy's name. Still, I didn't find it. Where I know I wrote it down somewhere. Alejandro's predecessor. So the crap. What do they call the head of the chantry?
Former Primogen?
Well, yeah.
The former? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the one that died when the I think it was either him or his
Chantry.
predecessor. Yeah, but the one that died when the chantry burned.
She has the journal of the previous Primogen.
Yes, essentially.
We'll say Alexander's admitted that.
She specifically referred to it as Alejandro's predecessor.
I see. Then it's entirely possible that there are many things that are hidden within there that thaumaturgy might unlock.
Well, as Grandmother Dorcas also told me that there's also something hidden within the city as well. I believe from the same soul. Now, whether or not the Nosferatu has any leads on the situation, I'm not entirely sure.
Jason, since you did mention that something that the previous chantry ended up taking on, would that be something that Samuel is aware of?
I believe Samuel found a torn page hidden in another book in the chantry at some point that referenced either Alejandro's predecessor or the one before that. Hit Primogen. Burying, basically hiding something deep under the city.
Right.
Without being able to examine the damaged book, you won't be able to tell, you wouldn't know if it's the page out of that journal.
Yeah.
Or if...
See, because he kept that page.
Yes, you still have that page. But it's also possible that if they were relieving journals for their successors, it might have just been the previous Primogen referencing something his predecessor had done. You'd have to get the book to be sure.
I'm going to need that book.
I can see what I can do about that. It's probably not going to be a very easy trick to let Grandmother Dorcas just let me have it But then again, like all other clans, I'm sure if we offer something of value, or at least owe the favor, then there might be something we can do about that. But for right now, I'm not 100% sure how keen she'd be on letting that one go.
Well, then I suppose the book is wasted knowledge on her.
Possibly. Like I said, I wanted to digitize it and see if I could also find pieces that were missing that you cannot easily see with the naked eye. Or on enhanced eyes, for that matter. Apparently, the predecessor was a very light writer. Or light-handed, as it were.
Well, for that point alone, you can't make a carbon copy of something by tracing indentations of the ink.
Yes, hence why I wanted to have something that could thoroughly look at it more, whether or not you write heavy-handed or not.
I see.
Again, computers are a lovely thing.
Nevertheless, I will need that book from her.
If the
Well-
Nos haven't figured it out, maybe the Tremere can. Like you said, it's wasted knowledge on them if they haven't figured it out by now.
I mean, again, to her, it's just a journal. It holds no rituals, it holds, at least so she claims, but it holds no rituals or anything really breaking or
Then why did she hold on to it?
a memento. To be fair, I'm not quite sure why she hasn't.
Holding on to the journal of one of the primogens of the Chantry and not returning it? That's testament to declaring war on the Tremere clan.
So I'll just-
She would not have held on to that for good reason.
I apologize, but I do not know her reasoning. It was something that they were able to scavenge from the ruins at the time.
Do what you can to get me that journal.
Sorry to sour the mood of the evening. I thought you might like to know about it. Since it is part of your chantry, after all.
It is interesting. It seems if it comes down to it, I might have to have some words with her myself.
Maybe she told you about it so you would tell Samuel. She could have told Alejandro. He's the current primogen, but she didn't.
Correct. She, as far as I'm aware, she has not said a word to Alejandro about it. So as
Maybe
far
in
as
her
we
own
know-
way, she's trying to get it back to someone to get it figured out. Maybe she knows Alejandro won't do anything with it.
We'll see.
Perhaps she feels similar to Alejandro that we do. Or you do, Samuel.
Possibly.
Well, in any case, if we do need Nosferatu clan to do any type of field work, I have been at least told by Grandmother Dorcas herself that I am free to use my fellow Nosses as see fit. To a degree, of course. Always got to remember to pay back favors, right?
Indeed.
So at least we have that resource to ourselves. But right, so we at least have an idea of where dear old Eddie is hiding. Shall we? Anything we'd like to try and hurl that way, so to speak? Or are we just going to enjoy taking shots in the dark of what his next move could be.
He's not
But-
old enough to come back to the city.
Of course not. The man's probably feared of being staked in the heart, let alone just dying in the sunlight. A slow and painful death as it may be.
By my
So-
hands.
And of course, you're welcome to it. I mean, I'll happily put a round or two in one more time just to see if I can make something splat. Or at least blow apart in an interesting manner, but beside the point. Mainly, he seems at least concerned enough to try and get you out again. Or at least convince you, though I'm going to assume he did a rather poor job in trying that stunt.
Yeah.
But then again, as what he did to you, I would assume it'd be very, very hard. Not enough blood and alchemy in the world to tend to that wound, as it were. So,
Just pass on up the line.
don't worry, don't worry. I'll happily send information to the prince, or if you wish to, Samuel, that is more of your specialty than mine.
All right. So if no one else has any business they specifically want to bring up, we'll wrap this little meeting up.
Before things wrap up, Samuel looked like, by the way, Jolene, I've exhausted all research options on this. So, and he'll pull out a case that he will set down in front of her.
I'm gonna assume there's something in here I'm supposed to be looking at. She's like opening it up.
What's in the box?
It's like,
What's
you know,
in the
that,
box?
It's
like
a
that,
severed head.
yeah, it's like, you know, the tool rack where, like, opens up and there's, like, all those multiple layers. And it's
Yes.
just, like, row after row of vial of, like, stoppered blood. In little vials.
Okay, I'm hoping this is just more than just. What kind of blood is this? It's like picking one up and kind of like sloshing it around. How old is this?
That is lupine blood.
God, that's really old.
It still retains enough of its power to help with your alchemy. It should be.
Try something real quick.
What's she doing?
She's still got one of the potions of like blood refreshing. She's gonna take a couple drops and drop it in one of the vials, see what happens to the blood.
It becomes a much more vibrant red for a little bit, and then drops back down to normal. The usual reaction you have when you're refreshing blood.
Anybody want to chug it?
Werewolf Blood drinking party. It's kind of morbid, but I'm into it.
Well, I just want to see if it worked. I mean,
Well, further research it is. Samuel will grab it, open it up.
It's tasty. Now the little vial is not enough to count as a sip. As far as like giving you back lowering your hunger or anything.
Well, werewolf blood does restore 2 hunger, so would it be enough to just restore 1?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Cool beans.
But yeah, I mean, it tastes pretty fresh to you. It's cold, so that's not necessarily the pleasantest, but other than that.
Yeah. And it did say that its resonance is animal and caloric, usually intense.
I'm going to say that it's not intense now,
Okay.
because the intensity is based off the emotional state.
All
And
right.
he been dead a while. He ain't real emotional.
Fair.
Vials with the
It is a lot. He drained that werewolf dry of blood.
Now it had his head blown off and whatnot. So
Yeah.
there was plenty of wasted blood. But yes, you managed to extract a decent bit.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot, because he drained a lot of blood out of it.
a dozen, 2 dozen, 5.
We'll go with 2 dozen. 2 dozen of the little vial of enough to be kind of a dose you'd use as a reagent.
Oh,
And you let Samuel drink one, so say you got 23 of the little vials.
I'll see what I can do with this. If nothing else, it might be worth carrying around. We gotta go anywhere a bit questionable. Just to kind of, like a... You see those little drinks at, like, gas stations, like those 5-hour energies? Kind of like
Yeah.
that, maybe?
Oh, I need to be awake past sunup.
I'll see what I can do. Is there anything in particular you're wanting them to do?
Nothing in particular. I've done what research I can get off of it. I know what resonances they particularly belong to. If I manage to get the blood from them, they're alive. It's usually intense resonance, which is always good for us. For you, however, it's still potent enough that I surmise from what you've told me about your alchemy that this should make it easier for your
At
distillations.
least make it interesting. I'll put out feelers with the other alchemists, see if they know anything fancy to do with them. I mean, it's not a common, not a common at all
No, just not.
reagent, but I'm sure stuff gets through the grapevine.
Me just imagining if I take that Archon vein thing for Sam, it's like, alright, so my price for keeping you safe is I need some of your blood every now and again.
Come up to an IV.
Ah, jeez. That would be a thing, though. He might do that. If he finds a werewolf that'll actually work with him, it's like, so, if you want me to help you keep you safe, you need to pay me in blood. Jason's very quiet.
He's making a face.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, y'all were talking about the IV thing. I was just picturing Samuel walking around with one of the Capri Sun straws.
Mhm.
Oh, jeez.
We calling the sheriff and the prince about this whole Eddie business tonight or tomorrow?
Well, I can drop by the Elysium up near where the Primogen is at. They might. You met with the prince tonight, correct?
Yes, he
Yeah.
had a few minutes to spare us.
He might potentially still be there. If not, then it's something that I can pass along to the relevant channels.
Alright. I'm sure if you need information from me, I'll be wrangled up.
Very well. If there's nothing else, I'll let them know.
All right.
I do eventually need to get a hold of Travis to see how that's going.
So y'all
When you
cover.
see him next, ask him why the hell he's got my work phone in his number, or in my work phone number in his phone.
Why does he have your work phone number in his phone?
I don't know. He ain't never called me there that I know of.
All right.
Weird. If it comes up,
Stop interrupting the storyteller. He's trying to tell the story.
sorry.
Well, we keep hitting these periods where I think, okay, they're about done with this meeting, so we'll start wrapping up and then.
Now we're really done.
All right. So y'all disperse. Is Samuel going to hit the Elysium?
Yeah, he is.
All right. You get there, usual ghoul at the front door. It welcomes you in. You don't see Marcy there tonight, and when you ask around, the prince has already left.
Okay.
There is an agent of the Seneschal there, as well as an agent of the sheriff.
He will go approach the agent of the sheriff.
You're fairly certain it's a ghoul. You're not sure if it's the sheriff's ghoul or one of the deputies' ghouls. You know.
Right.
Yes, doctor. Can I help you?
Yes, I have a report for the sheriff.
Oh, excellent. Is a letter I need to give him, or are you going to verbally?
Is he nearby or around? If he is, then I'll speak to him myself.
He's not here. I'm not certain where he is at this time.
Very well, then a letter will suffice.
He pulls out some stationery. You can dictate to me, or if you wish to write it, you can seal it in this envelope.
I will dictate. You will dictate for me. In regards to the blood hunt upon the former Thin Blood, known as Eddie Sims, he reached out to make contact with my coterie member Jolene. She made no attempt to entertain his demands to leave and join him, and has provided me with the number that he used to contact, as well as the name of the person who owns that number legally, as well as a general location of where the call was from. And he will give the number and the city that it came from, and the name of the person who quote-unquote owned the phone that was used.
Yeah, he writes all that down. Oh, thank you, doctor. Is that all?
That is all for the moment, yes.
You see him, he takes the paper off the pad, folds it up, puts it in the envelope, seals it with a wax thing.
Felt there was information that needed to be handed out as soon as I received it.
Oh, absolutely. I will make sure the sheriff gets this tonight.
My thanks.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you for your prompt service.
That's what I'm here for.
It is always good to offer thanks regardless. Have a good night.
You as well, doctor.
And he'll go to the bar, and like he will have a glass of just a little bit of mingling, just so he's not like walks in, ambushes a ghoul, walks out again. But he'll do a little bit of mingling, a bit of like reaching out to various social contacts, and just like keeping in touch, kind of a thing. And then he'll go back home.
Okay. I guess Jolene stays at the Primrose.
Goes back to working on her alchemy as soon as everyone leaves.
Does she try something with the werewolf blood? I needs to know.
Not that night. It's probably late in the night.
It's probably 3:30 or 4 by now.
She's not going to try anything. She's going to probably finish what she was working on, then be like, I will reach out to the alchemy folks and be like, anyone ever worked with really weird shit? Like, weirder than usual shit.
Define weirder than usual. Werewolf blood. What?
Oh no, that stuff's
like
useless. I'll take it off your hands for you.
Yeah, no.
That would probably involve you having to go talk to him in person, though. It's gonna be hard to do that across texts.
Yeah, she needs to reach out to a couple of them and be like, hey, you got a minute? You know, the following evening. Go reach up with them.
Only one of them you'll find has ever worked with Werewolf Blood.
Really? Probably the one that was teaching.
And it was just something she happened to get from somebody. Yeah, she was not going out hunting down werewolves herself.
Ooh, was it the guy we found dead, like, towards the beginning of the campaign?
Ooh, that's a good point.
mauled by the werewolf.
Didn't we get his journals?
We did, yeah.
Where would they be? Where would those be stored at, though?
Samuel would have them.
Did y'all keep them yourselves, or did, because, Trevor was there for all that, or did he take them in?
I don't remember. I just know for a fact that that was a session.
I
Say we kept
think,
it.
yeah, I think like it was just us in there, in that shed where we found it at first, before everybody else came in, because we were the ones that responded to it, because of the Auspix vision.
And the prince put Jolene in charge of researching thin blood alchemy for him. So yeah, we'll say Jolene has got those.
Yeah. Yeah, Samuel would have given them to her when she started researching alchemy.
Yeah, she would do a quick look through those notebooks, probably like the last couple hours. She's awake.
He does in his journal. He does speak of werewolf blood and how potent it is. That it's a very potent reagent. But he also speaks of taking a sample from what he thought was a young werewolf. And while it had, let's see, how would he put it? The blood, the taste of the blood had a little more bite to it than a normal human. It didn't have the potency of an actual lupine.
That was the younger one.
Yes, this is the younger one. That he said he thought was a lupine. And there's notations on how much blood he managed to drain out of this one, and
Yeah, she'll keep that on the back burner, just have a little bit of free time to try, like, do and say what the lethal body potions, regular and with werewolf blood, just to kind of compare. Probably not that night, 'cause those take a little bit of time.
Yeah. He also notes in his journal that he also knew. Everyone knows of the lupine's regenerative abilities, but yeah, this young one he was draining apparently didn't bounce back. He took a little bit too much one night, and they actually expired. He put them with the others.
Put him with. Is that
The missing body.
that could be? Yeah, that would have been the missing body then, probably.
Everything is connected.
Yeah, because the wolves did come in and wreck the place, and there was a body missing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She might be like, I should pass that on. That might come back and useful. Yeah.
Let's see. So all the rest of you disperse. Is there any other business any of the rest of you need to get to this morning?
No.
That'd be it.
Nothing coming off the
Doesn't
top
hurt
of
it.
my head.
Okay. Then the sun rises. You all go to bed. The day passes uneventfully.
As we just start rouse rolling.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
One thing Samuel would do before he goes to bed with his much improved knowledge of blood sorcery, as well as his greater research knowledge. He will take time that night before he goes to bed to build a Class 2 ward around his home.
What is the significance of a Class 2 ward?
It's the Haven bonus.
Okay.
Let me.
And what are you warding against?
Oh, this is sort of like a broad spectrum thing. It's under background. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Haven possesses a kind of magical ward barring supernatural forces. You may not be able to deactivate it, but it allows you to pass. Discuss the limits of your ward with Storyteller. Each dot of this merit adds 1 to the dice pool to resist supernatural scrying, as well as whatever other entry the Storyteller allows it to prevent.
Okay, so this is a background, not a ritual you have taken and are learning.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
this is a Haven defense. A Haven
We will
bonus.
we can discuss the specifics of it after session. We will assume you've got the scrying thing going for it for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And we can bounce around ideas on the specifics of the rest of it later. All right, so everybody goes to sleep, and everybody except Alexander looks like they wake up hungry. Oh, wait, we don't have one from Samuel yet.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so Alexander and Samuel are fine. That little sip of werewolf blood's just tiding you over great.
Yeah, I'm at 1 hunger. I was at 2 before I downed that vial.
As for you other 3, or 4, I don't know what Alexander's hunger is at. Do any of you need to hunt?
I'm at 2. I'm gonna let it ride.
Same.
Yeah, I think we're all at 2.
Okay. Let's see. What immediate reactions would there be? Samuel, you have had a letter delivered to your house, basically tossed through the mail slot.
Yes.
Thank you. It just simply said, thank you for the information. It is appreciated and will be put to use. And it's signed with the sheriff's name.
Okay.
No title, nothing at all identifying it as, You could have texted the entire content of this letter and nobody would have thought anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the rest of you.
I did have a question.
Oh, yes, please.
Sorry. Given his massive research roll on this thing, the previous night, does any dreams surface for Samuel?
Nothing spontaneous. Would you like to try to invoke something?
No, I just need to know if something spontaneous happened.
No.
That's what I'd like to know. Do I want to risk him trying to evoke it though? When the thing basically went.
Biscuit.
Well, this thing literally went, get out.
Stop.
Let's go poke something old, possibly dangerous. Let's just poke it with a stick.
I mean, risk it for the biscuit. That's all you gotta do.
Do it for the vine.
Do it for the Methuselah. Wait, no.
Go big or go home.
Let's go home.
Let's just go home.
Don't lean right now. Let's go home.
You first.
You know what?
Primrose is my home now.
I am going to use Auspix
Okay.
to try to evoke a vision, but I'm going to preface it with sort of a mental sort of call out of, I apologize for disturbing you, but I would like to know more about you if you would allow it. And then he'll wait to see if there's any kind of response before he completes the diving into the vision thing.
Auspex is not telepathic
you'll allow it.
communication generally. The
Yeah.
fact that this thing could specifically speak to you in one of your visions and in the vision is immensely odd.
Okay.
But you can sit there and be thinking that as you activate your power. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Is
Please don't
that's
kill
sort of
me.
his thought process.
Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me.
Is
You're
that there's
dead.
it's like there's a lot happening. We're trying to figure it out.
How you doing?
Is there? Would you permit me to learn more about you, kind of a thing?
All right, give me your Auspex roll.
Is there a Mrs. the Sun?
You mean the moon?
That is the wrong one.
That's rough, bro.
Ha. Okay.
Oh, it's not a bad
Four.
roll at
How
all.
many tens?
Only
Just
the one.
one.
Only one.
Only one. And 4 successes isn't terrible.
Yeah, no, let me look up Auspex right quick, which I should have been doing while you were getting your roll ready.
Oh God. The
Huh?
fuck? There's a moth in my house and Vinny's attacking it. Good boy.
Go, Vinny.
As
the moth.
cats are wont to do. Hey, this
Like,
is smaller than me.
I just saw it flying, and then Vinny just.
Mm-hmm.
That's our boy.
And this is
that what-
premonition is the ability you're using, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
God, oh shit, Vinny!
Since that's kind of what
No, it's not like the
what
moth would be
happened
winning.
with the dream.
Why do I have
So-
2 Decas?
I don't know.
Because Vinny decided, Mom, it went under your thing. I'm going to attack, and he attacked.
He was protecting you.
He was. He was protecting
Show
me against
some
the moth.
gratitude.
I don't like moths. I'm happy when he attacks them bugs that come in the
Yeah.
house.
Mom, the moth had a knife.
He
Like,
he
he
protects.
had it in his
Moth
nail,
had a knife.
and it flew
Just-
away, and he lost it. So I had to move him there while the screen was the camera was showing the screen.
Just like whenever Maeve does a feeds on like a drug dealer, just sprinkle some cocaine on it. It's fine.
There's a knife and some drugs.
And he was trying to do something to my computer. Doo-da, doo-da.
All right, Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
You do not get a vision. You do not. It's not like the dream you had. You're not in this guy's head.
Okay.
Nothing is speaking to you directly. You see a man in period clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Could be, Victorian era. Maybe a little earlier. Might be, Civil War or before.
Mm-hmm.
You don't recognize him.
Okay.
You do, however, recognize your previous primogen.
Okay.
He is also there, and clearly in the how do I put this? Saying submissive position just sounds weird. He's definitely not the one in charge. The other guy's definitely the one in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Subservient?
Subservient, thank you. That was exactly the word I was looking for. So you would guess this is probably his. The first man you see is probably his predecessor.
Okay.
Your primogen or previous primogen is speaking to his master,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to know why they're hiding this.
Okay.
It's dangerous. It could potentially wake up and kill everybody in the city, and we have it at, or all the kindred in the city, and we have it at our mercy now. And he gets sharply rebuked. he will. He's told that he will follow his instructions.
Okay.
That this is a pathway to greater power, to greater knowledge. That this creature knows magics and paths of blood sorcery that the Tremere do not know, that the Assamites do not know. And certainly not the Zamisi. It's a whole nother path of potential power. And all he requests is a safe place to sleep. Your Primogen, or previous Primogen, does not seem to be completely convinced, but he's pushed his master as far as he's going to.
Okay.
They are somewhere underground with, very old-fashioned looking lanterns. Unfortunately, that's all you can see. Is basically them and the little bubble of light their lanterns make. When they pass close enough to a wall, you can tell they're in some kind of natural tunnel. And then you come out of it.
Okay.
Now, what are all y'all doing as you first wake up? We know, Samuel is sitting down and doing his
He's having acid
vision questing
visions.
thing. He sits down, drops some acid, and this is what he sees. But what's the rest of y'all doing?
Blackjack's up. Will his goal's probably like, how'd the date go?
You sleep well?
Did you sleep well? Did she sleep well?
No, he's pretty much his standard self.
Okay.
He's filling out. This happened. Yeah.
I would actually literally ask, how's your significant other doing?
Oh, she's fine. No, he'll actually, he feels, you've learned her name by now,
Yeah. Just next time you see it, tell her I said hi.
Okay, that's cool. He'll tell her his boss said hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes into, what went down on the farm, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story about teaching one of the new hires, who I don't think you've let him know they're vampiric at all.
Not yet.
But, one of the cows had the bloat, and they had to get the bloat hose out, and, hilarity ensued.
Yeah, Bethany is prone to bloat, so you're going to have to be especially careful with her.
Yeah, they know to be careful with the bloat hose now.
Yeah.
He should probably have warned him ahead of time, but thought it would be a good learning experience.
Oh.
Alrighty.
He did have to send one of them home early, but, they had to go clean up.
Yeah. Yeah, you tend to do that with bloat. Now, I assume she's fine. I assume the lot of you are fine as well.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't bad enough he had to call in the veterinarian or anything.
Okay, good. I don't know how a vet reacts my animals. I think I treat them better than your average vet.
Yeah, he wouldn't know. He was never much of an animal person before this.
Nonetheless, I of course, you're good for now. appreciate it, and I will definitely let you know if I need something.
All right. You sure that's all you need to know?
I'm good for now. I appreciate you and all your hard work.
Oh, well, it's not. It's nothing. He's just happy to help.
You have a good night. You have a good night. Go and take your lady friend out on a nice date.
Yeah, all right.
No, wave him off.
He hesitates a little bit, then he leaves.
And then just kind of like looking around, and everything looks fine. So he's gonna go driving around like he usually does.
Okay. Alexander,
Yes, sir.
what are you getting into on this fine evening?
That is a good question. Well, of course, he'll do his standard, warm up the systems, check on any movement, any tips that's came into his little network of information, such as like license plates he's checking, phone numbers that he's trying to trace calls of, such as Eddie's and any other suspicious peoples.
Let's see. You do not get any indication of Alejandro leaving the city.
He'll take note of that and be like,
Yeah, but
this is the first in a while.
He doesn't leave every night. It hasn't been an every night thing. But specifically tonight, he seems to still be in town. Or at least you haven't spotted him at all. So let's see. Give me a technology roll as you're checking on Eddie's phone number.
Sure thing. Technology and intelligence?
Yes.
Okay.
Nah, you don't manage to get nothing on that.
Seeing that one success, that's literally all I can think of in my head. If you just like, wait, what was that number again? Did she give it to me? Did I write it down? Damn it.
One success, yeah, again, you find her name without any trouble with it. Or, the owner of the phone's name. Excuse me.
He will do one other thing.
Mm-hmm.
He will reach out to any willing member of the Nos clan to see what he needs to do to arrange kind of a deal. Mainly a deal of the book that which Grandmother Dorcas has. Seeing if there's a way that she'd be willing to allow him to look at it, if she truly feels like there's nothing, like it holds no strategic value for her or whatever. He wants to see if there's a deal he can strike, or is there something he can do.
All right, so is he directly messaging Grandmother Dorcas about this? Or is he trying to talk to some of the other clan and kind of get a feel for what, how he might approach her?
Right now, more of an approach to see, like, just kind of putting out there, like, hey, wanted to borrow something to Grandmother's, just not real sure how to go about it. Anybody got some quote unquote pro tips?
You've got a contact number for the whip, the clan whip. I take that back. You can. There are probably ways you can contact most of the Nos. Some kind of group chat or like a online forum. You got to be very circumspect on it. Like any other technology. But
that's what I'm saying. He's like either going into a text message group, or he is like you said, going to a forum, and he's specifically stating, need to borrow something to grandmother's, but not sure how to go about it. Anybody got an idea?
You get a private message back from one of the Gnosts that you're passingly familiar with. And it's not like a response in the little, forum or whatever. It's like a private
No, it's a
message
private
sent to you
message.
through.
Yeah, it's a direct message to me.
Yeah.
Trying to slide in the DMs.
Yeah, I can talk to you about it. Meet me. I'm trying to think what a good spot. Huntsville. Meet me at the haunted train station.
He'll kind of smirk at that, like, alright, I'll meet you there.
And that's one of the historical little sites in Huntsville.
Historical sites of Huntsville. Well, I'm off Sunday, I might make me a trip.
Without me?
No, I would never dare. Because if I'm going up there, I know a certain Samuel's going to want to hug your face too.
Could be.
About to be like, bro.
Maeve, what do you get into this evening?
Probably walking Vincent and then going to work.
Okay. While you're walking Vincent, someone falls into step behind you. Vincent growls a little bit, but doesn't seem to react otherwise.
Yes.
You turn around and it's Colin. May?
Yes.
What, let's see how we go about this. So I hear you had a meeting with the prince.
Yeah. I thought a meeting would go better than to break his rules and go into the refugee. Wildlife refuge.
What's your interest in the refuge?
Malkavian friend of mine with his sight saw me in the refuge walking through the swamp waters.
And what happened to you in this dream? Or this vision?
I was just walking and there was eyes watching me the entire time.
That place does not have the best reputation.
So instead of doing that, went to go talk to the prince about it.
And what did he say?
Not to worry about it, to forget about it.
Interesting. I would
I mean,
highly
I'm not
recommend. I would highly recommend that you obey his ban on it, though.
No, of course. I mean, especially with things going on with my coterie right now, I'm not going to risk anything.
What's going on with your coterie?
Apparently there is a look into the Tremere Primogen.
Alejandro?
Something's going fishy in what he's doing, so they're having the Scourge look into it.
And how does that involve you or your coterie?
Who do you think told the Scourge anything?
You started an investigation into a Primogen member.
I didn't start anything.
Oh.
I don't know this Alejandro.
Oh, the Tremere started it. Okay. So it's a power play that he's potentially dragging you into.
Maybe not, but the coterie is involved, so kinda can't don't want to be stepping on toes right now while this is going on.
Which means your Tremere is hedging his bets in case this blows up in his face.
Yeah.
Do you know the sorts of things an experienced Tremere can do to Kindred?
Can what?
Can do to Kindred?
Sorry. I try not to think about it. I stay in good graces with Sam. I just try not to think about it right now.
Yes, but if this Primogen finds out that Sam is seeking the Scourge on him, I'm sure Dr. Samuel would be the first person Alejandro would go after, but he might not be the last. May, this is not a situation you need to be in. You've always been the type to keep your head down, not take any guff from anybody. That I respect. But all of a sudden you've attached yourselves to people that are playing these political games. The Thin Bloods have brought all sorts of attention to themselves.
Not through fault of their own, though. They didn't ask to be captured and used for whatever ritual these Bali have.
I'm not laying blame on anyone. I'm merely pointing out dangers in the situation you're in. The head of your coterie is plotting against his Primogen. For what purpose? I don't have a hard time believing the prince would allow someone as young as him to become Primogen. Though I'd have said that about Alejandro when he took over too. So.
Well, the prince allowed it. The prince is allowing the Scourge to look into it.
Oh, allowing the investigation, certainly.
So, maybe Samuel isn't going for it. I know his sire is here.
Colin kind of stops. So it may not be Samuel's power play. Oh, Maeve. Now we have an older, more experienced Tremere.
I know his sire is here. That's all I know. Met him once.
Do you have any idea how old his sire is?
No.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, you do.
Does Maeve? Okay, so then Maeve would tell him how old the sire is.
He said that his sire is as old, if not older, than Grandmother Dorcas.
So just as old, if not older than Grandma.
So he'd be hearing the calling, or getting close to it, or the beckoning, or whatever they call it.
Probably.
Could be an old man's last hurrah, trying to siege up some power that he'd never gotten before. Maeve, you're being caught up in the machinations of the Tremere. This is not good. I understand that these are friends, and that they have your back. And with the exception of the Tremere, I think most of them are fairly trustworthy. I mean, you've always got to be careful with the Nas. You never know who they're working for, but... And the Thin Blood may be more trouble than she's worth long term. But I don't doubt her loyalty to you. Still, you could be friends with them without being attached to them. Being a member of their coterie makes you politically a unit. You've already made it clear to me that you're not going to leave the city. Could you at least publicly distance yourselves a little bit from your friends?
So leave the coterie, but not the city.
Yes. Plenty of kindred live in this city that are not members of any particular coterie.
But with everything that's going on, do you think that's really wise to show them that they've just lost that they've lost one of their fighters?
They still have the Bruja.
one of their fighters. We're the only two.
The Nos can be good in a fight. I don't know about yours in particular.
And
Alexander?
Maeve is just gonna shake her head. No. He's good long distance. He's not good up front. And there's not a lot of coteries here in Huntsville that can do as much as we're doing right now.
I'm sure there's plenty of coders that can pick up the slack. The ones just over the hill.
The Brat Pack?
Crap, what is their actual name?
Call them the Brat Pack, because that's what...
Valley Cove.
Valley.
Yes,
Yeah,
Valley
Valley
Cove,
Cove
Valley
coterie.
Cove. There's several coves over there. I can't remember which one it was. All right. Yes, the Valley Cove coterie.
We don't know what they're into right now either.
I've heard nothing particularly suspicious about them.
I know for a fact, one night me and Blackjack were driving around, we saw them hanging. They were with one of the Anarch people.
Have you reported this to the Prince? And how do you know this person was an Anarch?
Because during the fight that we had outside of Huntsville city limits with the Prince,
Mm-hmm. The one in
she was
Greenbrier.
there. She was there. With Anarch people.
I'd heard rumors of the Anarchs being active over in that area sometime recently. I didn't realize it was corresponding with that event. Well, that is interesting that they would be meeting with an Anarch in your territory. But even if
They
they're
met-
suspicious, there's still plenty of other coteries. You need to look out for you.
I am looking out for me. I have some people watching my back. I
So-
leave them and I'm alone, then who do I have to watch my back?
Well, I'm in the
You're
area
gone
right
a good
now.
chunk of the time. And what if I get attacked while you're gone? Then what?
And what if your coterie gets you into trouble with the Prince?
I'm not gonna let it get to that. I know my boundaries.
That's a danger
Samuel.
to you. It could potentially be a danger to me as your sire.
One thing I would say about Samuel is he wants to be good in with everybody. If nothing
Yes.
else that I've witnessed, everything.
It's easier to stab their backs that way.
And the moment I notice, that is when I'll walk. But right now, that's not what it's looking like.
Very well. As long as you promise me to keep your eyes open. And to
course.
get out
The-
at the first sign of trouble.
The moment I notice that Sam is looking to stab everybody in the back and take us down with him or blame it on us, I'll walk. But it doesn't look
Alright.
like it'll go to that.
It may be too late by that point. I'll just have to hope that you live long enough for me to say I told you so.
I hope I live long enough for you to tell me that too if it ever happens.
Well, I wanted to swing by and see if I could talk some sense into you, but since I can't, I have some business down in Decatur myself tonight.
Uh-huh. And are you sure it's wise to go down there?
Oh, it's a dangerous area, but I'll be sticking to the area still controlled by the Camarilla. I have a meeting with one of the surviving Primogen.
Okay. Of which clan?
That's a very good question. One of the Nosferatu.
Okay.
They may have some information they'll sell me. I just have to see what it is that they want.
Just don't go in over your head.
No, May. He actually pats you on the head condescendingly. I'm leaving that to you, apparently.
moves his hand off her head.
And y'all come to a intersection. And he splits off from you, heads off some other direction. All right, Jolene. Let's see. You were doing alchemy stuff the night before. You have a shift at work. You go in before sundown, which I'm guessing is probably the kind of shift Jolene would try to go for, where she can get some of her shift done in before the night, so she still has part of the night to run around with the coterie if necessary. Your buddy's there, the older waitress is there.
She would leave a note for everyone just checking with Bree. I've got a shift tonight, so.
And you'd have probably seen Bree before you left.
Yeah.
You get all the usual check-ins from the Thin Bloods. One or two of them are starting to ask, if you think is it when you think it'll be safe for them to kind of spread back out some. Though most of them seem to be happy to have the warded area to live in.
We'll tell them if they want to spread out, they can, but...
Yeah, but would you recommend it yet? Basically, they want you to tell them it's safe.
She'll look into it.
It seems to satisfy them, at least for the moment. I think what would go down at the Waffle House tonight. Not much. It's a fairly uneventful shift. Blackjack, as you're patrolling, you see the Brat Pack drive through.
Mm-hmm.
They come down out of the hill, hit the main road, cut diagonally across, and off somewhere else in Huntsville.
I'm not like shooing them away per se. I'm just making sure they leave my domain in an orderly fashion.
You just kind of zip in a couple cars behind them.
Uh-huh. Real quiet, just like...
Just as they're going up over the hill and down out of the valley, a couple of hands poke out windows and give you the universal sign from number one.
The highway salute. It's okay. I stick my hand out.
You see the guy driving the car between the two of you are like, they doing that to me? But then he notices you. Then you see him glance over at his mirror and he sees you waving. Oh. Nothing.
Actually, Hold
nothing
on.
masquerade breaching or anything. But
hold on a sec. Activate Spark of Rage.
Do what now?
Activate Spark of Rage.
What does Spark of Rage do? And if that's a presence thing, don't you have to be?
It's
right there with him.
Oh no, I'd have to. As far as I know, I could just be like, if that guy's looking at me as I'm waving, it's a potence thing. It's not a presence thing. There it is. It's an amalgam of presence, but it's a potence.
Do you have presence 3?
I do.
Okay, then yes, you can indeed.
I've been working so hard to get this. Because the Brat Pack is, as far as this guy knows, flipping him off. So I'm activating Spark of Rage on this person to
Alright, so
drive up on.
You add your potence rating to any attempts to rile or incite the person or crowd. So how are you trying to incite this guy?
I'm just pointing that way towards the car that is flipping off. Just
so you're pointing and mouthing, do you see that?
Yeah.
Alright, give me...
check. Let me check.
You do that and I'll check to see what you need to roll.
Check.
Manipulation, definitely.
I get hungry. It's fine.
And subterfuge, maybe.
It's
Well, I don't know. You're not really lying exactly. Give me a manipulation and I guess leadership's as close as I see of anything that would fit.
leadership, and then wait, what?
Manipulation.
Manipulation, leadership. Oh shit! I rolled the wrong one.
And you get to add, of course, you get to add your potence and is it just potence that gets added?
Manipulation, and then my potence.
Just add their potence rating to attempts to rile up a crowd or something. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 successes.
Alright, manipulation plus potence versus composure and intellect of another vampire. So I'm assuming the unwitting mortal is probably one of those that just auto works.
I get hungry and it's worth it.
So yeah, you're pointing at that truck like, and mouthing, do you see that crap?
Mm-hmm.
And the
You're
dude
right,
just
I
turns
can't
back
find it.
around. Yeah, and you see the guy just 0 to 60. I mean, he's red in the face, angry, just spins back around, lays on his horn.
I just keep turning I go the other way as I'm going. I kind of like watch from the roof, from the rear view.
Telling me this dude just road rages so hard and like crashes their car. I need this in my life.
Well, you're kind of going up a steep hill, and they're kind of going over.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to go over to turn around. You'd go over, and then there's shopping centers and restaurants. You could turn around.
Yeah.
And yeah, he rides up. He doesn't like ram into him full speed, but he bumps him.
As soon as I see that, I kind of like just smile to myself and turn.
So you turn one way at the red light, and you see the Brat Pack is pulling into I think it's a CVS or a Rite Aid, something like that.
Yeah.
Walgreens, something. And yeah, the driver follows him right in, and the last you see him, he's boiling out of his car, and he's just going off.
Sweet revenge. I wonder if I would have anyone in the Brat Pack's number.
I don't believe you would.
Okay. Because I would just text a smiley face.
No, I don't believe y'all are on exchange numbers.
Okay. Oh shit! I would have technically had a bonus for that my leadership, because I'm technically inspiring him to violence.
Is that like a specialty you've got on leadership?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Well, you
finally
inspired
get to
him.
use it.
You inspired him to to some violence. One of the Brat Packs of Intru, so more than likely they'll get out of the car and dominate him, and
Hey, stop that.
that'll be the end of it. But he'll leave. Yeah, he'll be pissed when he leaves, but he would still leave.
Motherfucker.
Or they might do the whole thing where they call the police and make him take blame for it and get the insurance to fix their car. But it didn't look like there was much damage, bent fenders or whatever.
It's just getting the one up over them. The moral victory.
All right, let's see. We're getting close to 9. So Alexander, let's do your meeting with his other Nos.
Alrighty.
His name is Martin.
Mr. Martin. Okay.
Yeah, so you meet him outside the old train station or depot. So, Alexander, what is it that you're wanting to borrow from Grandmother Dorcas? And please specify what you mean by borrow.
Well, unfortunately, without too much thought, I happened to let, I'm sure you know the gentleman, Dr. Samuel. I happened to talk about a book that Grandmother Dorcas has, and he is real keen on getting it back, definitely to see what it may have. Even though Grandmother Dorcas doesn't think the book has value to him, it may hold all value. Just not sure how to go about
What do you
talking to
mean,
her.
get it back?
Yeah. I'll be frank with you. It is... The book is an old journal that happened to survive the fire. Way back when.
It wasn't that long ago. Wait,
Well,
wait. You mean Grandmother Dorcas has some Tremere book?
correct.
And
They
you
had
went,
it-
hey, I'll go tell the Tremere she's got a Tremere book.
I didn't think much about it at the time.
You know those SOBs go to war with this sort of thing. Nah, man, I can't help you. He turns around and just starts walking off. Fades from sight.
Of course. I should have known it wouldn't be that easy.
By the time you get back to your back to your haven, you've got a few other messages from that of people, and this is just in the regular chat. Basically going, if you need to borrow something from Grandmother Dorcas, just ask Grandmother Dorcas to borrow it. I mean, if it's something valuable, she may want some favor or something, but And one guy just like goes, definitely don't try anything sneaky with her.
He, in his own way, he is kind of cackling, like it's reverberating throughout his haven. It's like, no, the woman that is essentially queen of stealth of our clan. Yes, I would attempt to do something sneaky. I guarantee you that would get me staked. He ain't saying that. He's just saying this aloud within his own haven.
And we are being raided.
Bless, they always come at us at the very tail end.
Yeah.
I think they're doing something on their stream.
Yeah, I think they are.
Oh, yeah. They just like to hop
then-
over here when they get a chance.
I
Yeah.
mean, we're appreciative all the same.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong.
Viewer count is still viewer count. Regardless of when the viewer count happens.
Yeah, it
So
is.
so it is appreciated all the same.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
are helping us. You are helping us improve our production values. Look at our fancy clan titles.
Oh yes, we have new. Everybody's names got the little clan symbols next to it.
Thank you, Jolene.
Truly queen of the thin bloods and so much more. Oh,
You should have put a crown on top of yours.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah.
You should have put a crown. That would have been epic.
It's round, so a
Yeah.
little crown would fit just perfectly.
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
No.
It's okay. I've got Gimp. I can figure something out.
You gave him
Next
the
week,
asset already.
next week it may be Queen Jolene and a little crown.
Just imagining Jolene declaring praxis on the city.
So I'll just roll up my next character now, or
Nobody's got Praxis in Decatur right now.
yeah, that'd go well for like a night.
Oh yeah. Seeing like all the new messages, especially on the thread, she'd be like, okay. Well, I done goofed, and I done said something. Of course, can't manipulate Samuel to be like, no, you misheard me. You misheard me. It's not a Tremere book. So he is, he's essentially going to not go the time limit. He's gonna pick up the phone, and he's gonna give Grandmother a ring.
She answers the phone. Oh, hello there.
Good evening, Grandmother. I do hope you're doing well tonight.
Oh yeah, these old bones are, doing all right.
I apologize, but I'm going to start off by saying I am a fool.
What did you
And
do,
that I-
honey? And is it something you want to talk about on the phone? Or would you like to meet me in person to discuss this?
Talking to you in person might be a bit easier.
Well, you know where I'm at.
Of course, Grandmother dear. I'll be there shortly. I don't know how... I mean, we probably could extend just a little bit if you want. Cause
I don't
you
know,
me,
depending on how this goes.
Yeah, we can leave it on cliffhanger.
Yeah, we better leave it on the cliffhanger.
That's
So we're gonna-
why he's called Cliffhanger.
So we're going to wrap it up here. We'll start off next week with you speaking with Grandmother Dorcas. And then we're going to do another time jump, so be thinking of what your characters will do within a few months span.
A few months.
Well, I have not. I've got to check the dates and stuff. I don't know exactly how long it's
Okay.
going to be yet, but it may be
Okay.
2 or 3. Because I meant to get y'all into this year by the end of the campaign, and campaign
You're
date
halfway
is
there.
currently in April, so gotta
And we're
Hustle.
in real life in October, so we kind of
yeah.
need
And the
to...
game's wrapping in December, or at the end of December. So I gotta get my pacing. I gotta pick up my pacing. But we will cover the Grandmother Dorcas stuff first.
Well, I mean, before you said, like, each thing we do is like a day, I kind of would always imagine, like, each week we meet, like, a week has gone by.
I should have set something like that up, but early on, I just kept kind of going, okay, the next night, and then I realized no time is passing. This is too much stuff crammed in. Then I started doing
Yeah.
periodical skips, but
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, I'll pick up the pace there. So
Maybe
let's
we'll be in
see.
October for Halloween.
Do what now?
Maybe we'll be in October for Halloween.
Halloween is a Saturday.
The
Yes,
night,
but
the
that
night that all kindred can go out in public.
Why is everyone dressed up as a vampire in your group? It was a
And it's like you could walk around, like, maul somebody and walk around with the blood on you. They just think it's fake blood.
Yeah.
Fine.
We're
Feel like,
just
man, that's pretty authentic looking blood. Cheers. God, it's taking me forever to get that set up.
Pig's blood. Pig's blood.
Pig's Blood does it all the time.
People keep pointing at Alexander. Oh, look at that guy's mask. Totally fake looking. So anyway, that'll wrap us up for today. Join us here tomorrow night at the same time for Monster of the Week. And then Thursday night would be Descend into Avernus. Let's see, Saturday should be the Lost Cities. Or Stolen Cities, excuse me, the Stolen Cities. Which should be their third
Yes.
session, I think.
It's their third session. They are actually kind of funny. They're really funny, actually. I've been listening in on their stuff.
I caught a little bit of the first one, but not anything since. Monday is still on hiatus. I think they're about to wrap up the casting call.
Yeah.
Tonight was the last night for it.
Tonight was the last night to put in, so I don't know how long it'll be before they actually start up from that, but
Mhm.
something is coming. And then, next Tuesday we'll be back. Keeping calm
For
and carrying
your-
on.
For your reading pleasure.
We'll try to have something going on in the last 5 minutes, so if y'all want to show up again. But I've been the storyteller for the evening. Jason from Over the Nerd Eternal, which I think I forgot to say at the beginning of the thing. And with me as usual has been Sarah playing Jolene, Rap playing Maeve, Decca playing Blackjack, Duba playing Alexander, and off cams we've got Eric playing Samuel. And we will see y'all next time.
You can't see it, but he's waving.